Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for July 2022 for the collective as well as each individual life path number. So before we get into the reading, I wanted to let you know that I am now offering the Coaching with Numerology as a 60-minute phone session for U.S. customers only at this time. MP3 recorded sessions are still an option and still available for those outside of the U.S. or for anyone who prefers that option. Also, I am now offering personal month ahead numerology forecasts that include the PDF copy of the month in question, including each day of that month, and my recorded guidance for the month per the numerology. So if that is of interest to you, head on over to my website to book some time with me. The link is in the description box below. Okay, and as always, this forecast for July is a general reading. So again, please book some time with me for a personal in-depth look at your own numerology. Okay, so July is a 13-4 energy. This for me is really similar to sort of like Plutonian energy in a lot of ways. Death, metaphorical, of course. Transformation, rebirth energy. This is an energy that creates the compelling feeling for change, and not only change, but creation. Creating something beautiful from something desolate or difficult. This is an energy of, say, the lotus flower, something that takes time, perseverance, and desire to thrive, and finally blooming from the murky, muddy depths. This is using ingenuity and life force creatively to build a solid foundation of truth, honesty, and integrity from a space of passion and desire. So this isn't the easiest of energies to work with, only because it will require time, patience, and potential setbacks. However, the end result is the potential of some of the most beautiful, flourishing, lovely lotus flowers you've ever seen. So you could also think of the metaphor of the pearl. So the pearl is created inside of the mollusk or the shell, right? Is it the crab that does that? Anyway, I should know this, right? But it turns the sediment and the sand into something solid and unique and beautiful that brings joy and beauty to the lives of others. That is 13-4 energy. That is the potentiality of 13-4 energy. So as a cycle, we have this energy for July taking place within a 6 universal year. So areas of emphasis now for where this could show up could be around home and family life, love, such as how we love, how we show up to love, how we love ourselves, and or how open we are to receiving love, right? So a lot could be come in around love at this time. So this could bring change and transformation and rebirth to relationships, and also through our individual contributions to our greater community now. 13-4 is also very Venusian and divine feminine energy. So we may see things surface in a very transformative way around the actual earth, around nature, receptivity and stillness, more nurturing energy surfacing, or emphasis on global relationships in general. That could all come into focus now. So this is an invitation to sink into the softer side of life while also standing within your own truth and feminine strength, regardless of gender. This is a strong energy of creation stemming from the space of love, equality, and equity for all. If there is something you have wanted to create that could become a legacy for you or others, this is a very supportive energy for this. So follow your heart and your intuition. That's very 13-4 energy, even when it becomes challenging. And this energy will eventually reward you for your perseverance and your efforts. If you need a reminder of the possibilities, read more about the lotus flower And let that be your mantra this month. It is very rare that anything happens quickly under 4 energy, but typically things created or initiated under this energy have the very strong possibility of not only standing the test of time, but also bringing much success. So what that success looks like will be different for each person because each person's idea of success varies. So this month ushers in the supportive energy for building and creating something incredibly beautiful from something seemingly ugly or from nothing. So as always, it's what we do with the energy that makes all of the difference. So you are the magician of your own life. What will you do with your magic? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at each individual life path number now. Life path number 4s. Okay, so I pulled an animal spirit message for us and we got condor spirit. And I'm not going to go into too much into this. I'm not going to go into it at all, but the condor and the eagle are so incredibly significant for me, especially the last couple of years. So I am loving this energy for us. So with condor, what's coming through, and I will say the Andean condor is the largest flying bird in the world. So it demands respect. It commands a presence, right? Like you see one, I haven't never seen one in the wild, but I would imagine you see one and you stop in your tracks because I know I do that with an eagle, right? And so to see something even bigger than an eagle, just this massive bird would just be so incredible, so incredibly powerful. And so what condor is bringing through is this energy of truth, final authority, and brilliant mind. And what I love about this is there's so much, but especially with 4 energy, right? So fours at its heart, right, is very much about building something of value, of something that's going to stand the test of time, building some kind of a legacy, something that can have a greater impact on a greater good of some sort, right? And so there's a tremendous amount of wisdom associated with the 4 energy that 4s bring forth from previous lifetimes, right? And we use that wisdom, we unlock that wisdom as we move through our journey of life. And we're meant to incorporate that wisdom into whatever it is that we build, whatever it is that we create. And so with the condor coming through, this is a fantastic reminder to recognize your own presence, like recognize the power of your own contribution. And in that contribution, to make sure that you are maintaining your integrity, that you are walking in your own truth, right? Because every person is going to have a belief system which basically runs their truth, right? Like it creates their quote unquote truth. And so it's important to be open to the ideas and the inspirations and the advice and the wisdom of others, of course. But it's also just as important to make sure that you're coming back to your own center, to your own truth, and that what the choices that you make and what you decide to build and what you decide to move towards resonates for you, like holds some kind of value for you, right? Coming back to your truth. And when it comes to making decisions about your journey, about things that affect you, you have to have the final authority. You have to have the final say in what it is that you choose to do. A lot of times, and this isn't just for 4s, this is humans, we will have an idea, have an inspiration, or we'll have a decision to make. And the mind, the ego, will convolute the options, right? And so then we reach out to the external to ask for advice, to ask for a solution. We follow that advice, and then we don't like the outcome because maybe the outcome doesn't resonate, or it feels outside of our own truth, or whatever the case may be. And then we blame the other person, when the reality is we are in control of our own decisions. We are in control of our own destiny and our own life and what we choose to create. And so Condor is reminding us that we have final authority when it comes to ourselves and what it is that we, where we invest our energy, how, what boundaries we set, what boundaries we hold, how we move through the world, and what decisions we make. And again, the Condor is not a bird that takes any shit. You know what I mean? It's a very intimidating force to be reckoned with, and not saying that we want to move through the world intimidating people. Of course not. But we should demand respect. We should demand that our voices are heard. And we don't have control over what other people do, but we do have control over ourselves and how we present ourselves, how we get our message across, what we choose to share, all of those things. So I do think that there's something really coming in here with Condor to remember that your presence is powerful and important, and what you have to contribute is important. You wouldn't have come to this planet as a 4 life path if you didn't have something really, really important to share in this lifetime, or to build, or to leave behind. So just kind of keep that in mind. Don't underestimate what it is that you came here to share, who you are as an individual, and how much your contribution actually matters, right? Okay, so for us in July, we will, of course, be feeling the energies of the 13-4. And also there is an undertone, sort of an undercurrent of 11-2 energy for us. So this is about collaboration. This is about relationships. And so we want to make sure that we are maintaining the integrity of our project, of our ideas, whatever the case may be, but that we're also collaborating with others, getting other people's input, ideas, brainstorming, sharing ideas, and then coming up with a solution or building something that doesn't only serve us, but serves others as well. And so collaboration is going to be key. So any way you can kind of get yourself out there and network and, again, share ideas is going to be supported under the energies this month for 4s. And again, relationships could come into focus pretty strongly for 4s. And that can be across the spectrum, right? So friendships, colleagues, romantic partnerships, new relationships, old relationships falling away, whatever. So relationships could come in very, very strongly this month for us. This is going to be potentially a highly sensitive time, and not just emotionally a sensitive time, but also very psychically, intuitively tuned in time, right? So in other words, you might get downloads, inspirations, ideas coming in for you that you need to pay attention to, because it's almost like the veil is thin this month, or thinner this month. And so pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to what, if something stands out to you in the lyrics of a song, if someone says something to you that stands out, pay attention. This is going to be a very highly sensitive month. Now, that can also correspond to being emotionally highly sensitive, right? And so maybe taking things out of context, maybe taking things too personally, getting your feathers ruffled, right, Condor, and reacting in some way. And so it's going to be really important that you manage those emotions, not suppressing, not avoiding, but feel them, recognize them, be aware of them, move through them, and channel and transmute them into something positive and powerful, right? Or empowering. Let's say empowering, right? So it's going to be up to us to do that. So if somebody says something that upsets us, we need to take a moment and pause and breathe, and then look at what was said. Why are we taking it personal? Why is it a trigger point for us? What's coming up around it? And it may just be that we need to set healthy boundaries with this person. Not necessarily react in an aggressive way, but just, if whatever they're saying or doing is triggering in some way, then maybe it's not the best situation for you to be in at this moment. That doesn't mean you avoid that trigger. Take a closer look at it and see what it's bringing up for you and why it's coming up for you, so that you can move through it, so you can transmute it. But maybe you need to sort of remove yourself from that person at this time. That doesn't mean you can't reconvene or come back together, or whatever the case may be. And that's just, again, setting a healthy boundary of, I need some time to move through this, so let's just take some space for a little bit of time and reconvene, right? Or whatever works with you, for you to be able to move through that. And you'll know whether or not you've moved through that trigger point, because that person will either continue to trigger or not. So, or the situation. The lessons will always find us, right? So if it's not with one person, it'll be with another or through an experience or something like that. The key is to get us to work through those trigger points. So just know that this month is potentially going to be highly sensitive, could sort of evoke some strong emotions from us. So we just need to know that we are the final authority on how we choose to respond or react to those emotional charges, right? And the situation, the circumstances, the person who is creating that charge, right? Or who we perceive to be creating that charge. Ultimately, it's from within and all that stuff. But anyway, this is also going to be an opportunity to follow your greatest inspirations and passions at this time, even if they don't seem logical. Now that's a big ask for fours, because a lot of times, fours who are in alignment are very balanced between their very practical and logical mind and the more like metaphysical, spiritual, ethereal, sort of intuitive side. Okay, so this is going to be a month where we really, really need to follow our sort of inspirations and our intuition, of course, but on those passions. Again, even if they don't seem logical, because not everything is always going to make sense. And if we only follow the path of sort of reason and knowledge, we're missing a big part of this experience. And so really, if something comes in for you and it ignites a fire within you or, ignites your passion, follow it, see where it takes you. And it's not going to be logical necessarily, and it's not meant to be. But what's beautiful about the four is that we can take the more ethereal, the more metaphysical side of things and turn them into something very practical. I mean, anybody can do this, but fours have a sort of a natural gift for this, as do sevens. But there's something here about taking that more illogical thing, the more sort of imaginative, something with a more imaginative essence, and turning it into something more logical that makes sense, right? That other people can buy into because they can see how it works. They can see the more tangible side of things. So there is the possibility of that. And so inspirations and ideas that come in for us this month could very well be assisting us in getting to that goal, right? Getting to that endpoint, which is incredibly beautiful. So the question is, what is calling to you from the ether now? And how can you create something from that at this time without, disregarding it or without avoiding it? Because again, there's not a logical explanation, or it's not a tangible yet, because you are probably the person who needs to bring it into the tangible, the physical, right? So, and more than likely in collaboration with other people, especially with the energy this month. So powerful energies coming in for us this month. But I will say, with Condor coming out, that tells me that this is so supported. This is so supported. This is something that we are empowered to do. We have the support to do it, even if it doesn't make sense. So I would say the more that it doesn't make sense, the better at this point, right? It's up to us to make sense of it, to figure out what needs to happen to create whatever this is and bring it into the physical for the benefit of not only ourselves, but others as well. So I hope it's a powerful month for you all. I think it will be. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.